All right, so can you guys, I want to make sure the music is not too loud. Can you hear the music?
It's good.
I like it because a lot of times I can't hear all the
Okay,
instruments.
so let me make the music
Yeah,
a little low. Well, right now, here's my microphone. So I usually leave the microphone right near me so you can hear me
Good.
well. But sometimes, yeah, the music, it can tend to be a little bit of a distraction if it's too loud. So I'm gonna see if I can lower it a little. All right. I think I lowered it a little. If at all during our practice, if all of a sudden the music gets loud and you really can't hear me, just flag me down, right? I'll be able to see, it's just us. So you can always unmute yourself and reach out to me if needed, okay? All right, so welcome to Gentle Yoga. Welcome, Gail, to our group. Such a pleasure to have a new friend. So this is a practice of health and well-being for the body and the mind, okay? Although it's gentle yoga, gentle does not mean that it is necessarily without a challenge, right? So make a commitment to yourself to honor your body, right? Work within your limitations and do the best you can, right? So I'm going to start by sharing a little, I have this written on my phone, so I'm going to share just a little brief reading with you. I saw this, I think it was on Facebook, and it spoke to me so well that I want to read it here today. 6 little stories, well worth the 30 seconds to read. 1. Once, all villagers decided to pray for rain. On the day of prayer, all the people gathered, but only one boy came with an umbrella. That is faith. 2. When you throw babies in the air, they laugh because they know you will catch them. That's trust. 3. Every night, we go to bed without any assurance of being alive the next morning, but we still set our alarm clocks to wake up. That's hope. 4. We plan big things for tomorrow in spite of zero knowledge of the future. That is confidence. 5. We see the world suffering, but still we get married and we have children. That's love. 6. On an old man's shirt was written a sentence. I am not 80 years old. I am sweet 16 with 64 years of experience. Yeah. So have a happy day and live your life like those 6 stories. Yeah. Right? So love and trust and hope and confidence and faith. So take that into account here. As we practice self-compassion, bring your hands to your heart center. Right? Our culture teaches us to be kind to parents, to teachers, to strangers even, right? To people that are less fortunate than us, but rarely does our culture teach us to have compassion for ourselves. So today, I'd like you to be willing to look at your strengths and your weaknesses, to acknowledge that you have gifts and you have inadequacies, all of which makes up the perfectly imperfect you. Yeah. Bring the chin down to the chest, and then slowly, slowly lower the hands down in front of you and just walk the hands forward. So just want to kind of get a little stretch on the spine and the hips. So as you walk the hands forward, let the head go and start to listen to your breathing. When the chin comes to the chest, right? We actually slightly close off the throat. This is called Jalandhara Bandha, or an energy lock here. So we can contain our beautiful energy and still breathe freely. So take 3 good breaths into your back body right here. Feel the back expand, feel space between the shoulder blades. Relax the shoulders and the jaw. Good. One more nice inhale here. And then as you exhale, walk the hands back toward the body and roll yourself up. Roll the shoulders back and down and just see if you can sit in a slightly better posture than you did just a few moments ago. And bring the hands once again to your heart center. We're going to start moving through the shoulder and the side body. With an inhale, reach the arms up. And with an exhale, turn those palms away from you and bring them down by your side. Good. A few cycles of breath moving through that shoulder joint. Inhale, arms up. Exhale, arms back and down. Good. Inhale, arms up. Exhale, back and down. Good. Keeping that right hand down. This time, just lift the left arm up and see how much length you can get on that left side of your body. Really reaching and stretching tall. Take another breath in. As you exhale, lean the body to the right. Yeah, so that right elbow might soften a little bit, or perhaps you walk that right hand out a little further. Right, take what serves you. Feeling that left sitting bone, that left hip, rounded and rooted. Maybe you can lift the chin up, looking toward the elbow crease if that feels good. Right? Remember to honor your body. You can turn your head to look down toward the hand that's on the floor, changing the shape in the neck. Right? Have trust, have faith, have confidence in yourself. Beautiful. Right, head comes back to neutral. Use an inhale to bring that left arm up. That right arm up. I have to remember that I am the mirror image of you. Lower your left hand down and slowly stretch and lean to your left. Good. Softening that left elbow, or maybe walking those fingertips out a little further. Right, so we have options that we can choose. Beautiful. Maybe switching the position of the head here. Gaze can go up or gaze can go down. So nice to have choices, right? Things that we can be in control of, because so much of our world and what goes on around us is not within our control. Yeah. Let's use our breath to rise up. Inhale, left arm comes up to meet the right, and exhale, both arms come down. Good. Lean back into the hands, uncross those legs, and I'm going to ask you to lay down onto your back. All right, so take your time getting there. So good. And when you get onto your back, come into conscious resting pose. So the knees are bent, feet are flat on the floor. Arms are down by your side, palms face down. Maybe the fingertips can brush onto the heels a little bit. Yeah, good. And now with your next inhale, just lift your arms up toward the ceiling and then reach the arms up and over the head. All right, so in this moment, I want you to just pay attention to how your arms feel here, right? You might need to make them out wider like a V, or even out completely like a T, or maybe you could keep them all the way up and over the head. So choose that shoulder position that feels comfortable for you. Good. Now keep the hips on the floor. We're not coming into a full bridge quite yet. I want you to just notice your pelvis, right? So if you tilt your pelvis slightly, so the pubis bone kind of comes up toward the ribs, you can sort of flatten out that lower back, right? And then rock the pelvis forward, right? So the tailbone comes a little closer and you feel that natural arch in your spine again. So just move back and forth, a little pelvic tilt. Nothing is actually coming up off of the mat. You're just rolling through the hips, beginning to create some awakening and awareness in that hip. Right. And as you roll back and forth, see if you can move a little bit more with your breath. And the next time the pelvis tilts up, so the pubis bone comes toward the ribs and the tailbone starts to lift a little, see if you can maybe lift it up just a little bit. So not into the full bridge, but just a little bit. And then lower and tilt the pelvis in the other direction. So each round here, coming up a little bit higher, right? Perhaps the hips float up an inch or two, and maybe it takes 2 or 3 or 4 more cycles to get yourself into a full bridge pose, right? And so once you feel that you have reached that place where you can come into a full bridge pose, I want you to hold those hips up there, right? The arms are still up and over the head or maybe out wide. The chest is coming toward the chin, and there is that Jalandhara Bandha, that lock again here, containing your energy so that you have the strength to hold this pose, right? Notice the legs working, the glutes working. Observe the breath flowing freely. Good. Give me one more nice inhale. Maybe you push the hips a little higher. And as you exhale, how slowly can you roll it down from the upper back, the middle back, the lower back. And once the hips come down, bring the arms all the way down by your side. Ooh, so good. All right, now we're gonna just take 2 or 3 rolling bridges really nice and slowly. Inhale, we start to tilt the pelvis. The arms start to sweep up and over the head, and then the hips lift up nice and slowly, as high as we feel comfortable getting into the bridge. And then exhale, rolling everything down nice and slowly so the arms and the spine release, the hips release simultaneously. Take 2 or 3 more cycles. And we can develop this self-compassion by really paying attention to the self, the physical body, and the thoughts. After your last round, when you find yourself back with your arms down by your side, we're going to lift our knees up into the chest and hug them in. One hand maybe on each knee, or maybe you're wrapping your arms around your shins, and just move a little here. Maybe rock side to side, or perhaps stillness feels better for you. I like to massage my lower back here, maybe even make some circles on the mat with my lower back. If you're making circles, go in both directions with the circle. Good. And then find stillness, knees still coming up toward the chest. And then see if you can straighten the legs up toward the ceiling. All right, you can hold on behind the thighs. It doesn't need to be aggressive here. So the legs do not need to be completely straight, right? Maybe they separate a little. Maybe the knees are still nice and soft. And see if you can circle through the ankles here. Just circle a little. Move the ankles, move the feet, move the toes, maybe wiggle. Looking good. I see your toes in the screen. Good. All right. Now, find stillness with the feet and see if you can release the hands down by your side and then really slowly bend the knees. So see if you can keep them simultaneous action, right? So they stay together. Bend the knees, yeah. And then together, slowly lowering the feet down to the mat. This is the challenging part, right? See if you can let the both feet touch, like so super slow. Once they touch, you're gonna lift the knees up, but without your arms. So inhale, lift the knees back up to the chest. Exhale, straighten the knees up to the ceiling. Good. Inhale, bend the knees. Exhale, lower the feet simultaneously until they delicately tap the mat. We're going to do that a few times. So inhale, knees come to chest. It's just a little core work. Exhale, straightening the legs up to the ceiling. Inhale, bending those knees, right? Trying to keep those feet in line, and exhale, lowering really slowly. The feet tap together. Take it one more time. Inhale, knees to chest. Exhale, feet to ceiling. Inhale, knees to chest. Exhale, lowering those feet so super slowly. Good. Pause there. Really nicely done. Now, let's take that right leg and cross it over the left, ankle over knee, like a figure four. Yeah, figure four. Good. So you can take the right hand on that right thigh and just give it some gentle encouragement away from the body. That might be enough for your hips, you decide, right? Or maybe you can lift that left foot up and take that right hand in between your legs. Hold on to the back of that left thigh, or maybe even the left shin. Yeah. Woo. And now just go a little side to side. Rock a little side to side. Yeah. Woo. Say good morning to your right outer hip. Nice. Find stillness in the center. Lengthen the back of the neck. Notice if the chin is jutting upward. And then maybe see if you can straighten the left leg up toward the ceiling. Yeah. And if you want to, you can release the hands from in between the legs and see if you can hold on a little higher on that left calf, maybe that left ankle, drawing that leg toward the body. Flex the toes, stabilize the hip, and find your breath. Good. One more really nice inhale. And as you exhale, release that leg, soften that left knee, place that foot down, arms down by your side, uncross that right foot. Now we're going to take that action again. Inhale, both knees lift up to the chest and straighten them up to the ceiling. Good. Bending the knees and lowering the feet. Take it 2 more times, being really slow and mindful. Inhale, knees to chest. Exhale, feet to ceiling. Inhale, knees to chest. Exhale, feet tap down. Oh, hello, lower part of the belly. One more. Inhale, knees up. Exhale, feet up. Inhale, knees bend. Exhale, feet touch. Oh, so good. Take a pausing breath right here, in through the nose, out through the mouth. Oh, good. We're going to cross left over right, ankle over knee, figure 4. Remember, no 2 sides are created equal, so have some compassion. If the left is tighter than the right, right, maybe it's a little looser. Maybe it feels quite the same. You might take that hand and encourage a little stretch, or you might lift that right foot up, threading the left hand in between the legs, finding the back of that right thigh, or maybe even the shin. All right, flex those left toes and right toes and rock a little side to side. All right, a reclined pigeon, waking up those hips. And so have compassion. How much of our society and our universe teaches us that things need to be a certain way. We need to look a certain way, act a certain way. Have compassion for yourself. It doesn't have to be all that way. When you're ready, see if you can straighten the right leg up to the ceiling. Maybe you're still holding on the back of the thigh, or maybe you release that threaded hand and you find the calf or the ankle and you draw that straight leg toward the body. Make sure you're breathing. Long, slow, deep breaths here. Compassion into the hips. Kindness. Kindness to the less fortunate. Kindness to strangers. Why is that somehow often easier than the kindness to ourselves? And slowly, when you're ready, release by bending that right leg, lowering the right foot, arms down by your side, uncross the left. Good. And we're going to take 3 cycles now of that same little sequence. Inhale, knees to chest. Exhale, feet to ceiling. Inhale, knees to chest. Exhale, lower feet to mat. Good. Inhale, knees to chest. Exhale to ceiling. Inhale to chest. Exhale, feet to floor. Good. Last round. Inhale, knees to chest. Exhale to ceiling. Inhale, bend knees. Exhale, feet touch down. Good. Beautiful. And now for one moment, extend your legs all the way long, feet nice and wide. Good. Turn the palms to face upward. Just take a really big breath in, shape and control the breath. Exhale, just let the breath come out. Don't try to control it. Good. We're going to take 3 cycles like that. Shape and control your breath on a really big inhale. And just let the exhale happen, not trying to force it or control it. One more time, shape and inhale. Allow and exhale. Beautiful. Before we change the shape of our bodies, can you just notice already a shift beginning to happen here in the way you feel? Bending your knees, feet to the floor, and rock maybe forward and back, right? If it feels good to roll on that spine, you can hold on behind the thighs, and you can just kind of roll your way into a boat pose, right? Maybe if it doesn't feel good on the spine, maybe you just sit your way up another way. And if you can find your way into a boat pose, hold here, boat pose, right? So boat pose variations. You might just put your heels down on the ground and hold on behind the thighs. You might let the heels float up and the knees stay bent, and you're holding on to the behind the thighs, behind the knees. You might release the hands, reach them forward toward the feet, floating arms and legs. Yes. Remember our weaknesses and our strengths. Maybe some of you can take those peace fingers and find the big toe, straightening the legs a little bit more, having an anchor for your boat pose. Or maybe you're like, no, thank you. I'm just going to keep holding on behind my knees. Make sure you're breathing. One more inhale. And exhale, if you're holding those toes, release them, place the feet down. Nicely done. Okay, we're gonna come into a tabletop, so shift yourself around any way that serves you. Finding your way to hands and knees. Good. All right, so remember that pelvic tilt. I'm gonna move my microphone a little closer here. Remember that pelvic tilt that we started with, right? So I want you to just find your alignment with wrists under shoulders and knees under hips, feet hiding behind thighs, yeah? And then start that little pelvic tilt, just tipping the pubis bone up toward the ribs, right? Not a big full cat pose. You're just kind of isolating the hips here, the pelvis, and then slowly tilting it in the other direction so the tailbone lifts, right? So just move it a few times. Just feel the movement in the hips and do it with your breath. The next time you tilt with the pubis bone coming toward the ribs, pull yourself all the way back into child's pose. So feel that nice space in your lower back. Maybe the head rests on the floor, right? Maybe you need to have the head on blocks or on fists or on palms or backs of hands. Good. Just take a couple of breaths in child's pose. Shape the inhale and allow the exhale. Shape the inhale. Allow the exhale. Good. And now lift the head up. Reach the arms forward. And inhale, lift those hips back into a table pose. This time we're gonna tuck our toes under, right here. Spread your fingers wide, good. Chin comes to the chest, look toward the belly, right? And then see if you can just float those knees up off the mat about an inch or two. This is called a floating tabletop. Right? Maybe with that Julandhara Bandha, with the chin toward the collarbone, you can get a little bit more energy. Or maybe you lift the head up and look toward the fingertips, open the throat a little bit more, right? Maybe it's getting a little shaky or a little wobbly here, right? I know we all have gifts and we all have inadequacies, and that is what makes us perfectly human. Give me one more breath in. Exhale, lower the knees, untuck the toes, press back, child's pose. So good. All right. Now with an inhale, lift the head, lift the hips. We're gonna tuck the toes under again, and this time we're gonna come into a downward facing dog. So you can always take child's pose instead of a downward facing dog if you need it. Floating those knees up and hips high. Maybe it's a bent knee down dog to start. You could paddle out your feet, right? Walking your dog, exploring a little bit, right? And so we all have strengths and weaknesses, but the inner critic mind tends to focus on the weakness. So we're going to just acknowledge that we have both, and give attention, equal measure to both. Lift and elevate your heels, stretch out the neck of your toes here. Good. And then look forward. We're gonna lower the right knee and step the left foot forward. Okay, so we're coming into a lunge position. If you have blocks, and you want to grab blocks, it's a really good position to use blocks in, one underneath each hand, maybe nice long arms and you don't need it. All right, so right knee is down, left foot is forward. Good. All right, now come up on your fingertips, lift the heart up a little bit, push down into the big toe mound on your left foot, right? So that your knee doesn't kind of wobble open out to the left. Good. And then with an inhale, release the arms forward and up. If you need to keep the hands down on the blocks or down on the floor, don't beat yourself up. Yeah. All right. Remember now that pelvic tilt, right? So just a teeny little shift of that pubic bone lifting up toward the ribs, right? Woo, right? So you feel a little bit more awakening in that right hip flexor. Can you breathe? So good. Nice. Give me one more nice inhale. And as you exhale, slowly, slowly lower the hands down. Good. We're going to tuck the right toes under and lift that right knee. So if you want to keep that right knee down, you can. Yeah. If you can leave it lifted, maybe you test your strength a little here. Keep the right hand on the floor or a block and shift that left arm to reach it forward in front of you. So the bicep muscle comes by your ear. You're getting length on that left side of your body. Yeah, good. Now we're going to take some circles. Remember, this can be done with knee up or knee down. So inhale, lift that left arm up. I'm going to keep looking down toward my right hand and bringing it up to the ceiling, bringing it back behind me, and then circling it down by the side of my leg and forward again. Maybe this time I'm going to try to see how it feels to use my gaze. So following the hand with the eyes, the head, and the neck as it circles up and back and around. Right, maybe 2 more times. Notice how it feels different with looking or not looking. Yeah. It just adds a little play of the neck in there. Beautiful. And then slowly bringing that left hand back down. If the knee is elevated, lower that right knee. Bring the left hand to the left thigh. Push down and take a little twist. So you roll that left shoulder over the right. Good. And if you want to take it further, reach that left arm up to the ceiling and roll open into a lunge twist. Oh, you girls look gorgeous. Breath in and breath out. Nice. One more inhale. And exhale, slowly lower that left hand down. Good. And we're going to tuck the right toes under, lift the right knee, and slowly step the right foot up to meet the left. So feet are hips distance, yeah? And maybe a little wider. Good. All right. And just start by letting yourself hang in a forward fold any way that serves you. Maybe the arms dangle. Maybe the hands, the back of the hands are on the mat like a gorilla. Maybe you grab opposite elbows. Maybe you hold the backs of the ankles or the calves. The chin comes to the chest, right? What can you do here that serves you in this moment? Give me 2 more breaths. Good. And then soften the knees and roll up slowly. Woo, yes. Rolling shoulders back and down. And then pause in what we call Samastiti, mountain pose, right? So hands at heart center. Maybe I see Gail might be having some technical difficulties. Hopefully you can hear me well. All right, so equal standing posture. One moment here. I'm going to put you on hold for 1 moment. Hi, can I not sign? Okay, thank you. Okay, Sasha, come. Sorry, girls. Sasha, come. Thank you so much. Sasha, come. Okay, so sorry, girls. That was a FedEx delivery. The man was walking in my courtyard looking for a signature, so I did this for him. I gave him an air signature, so thank you for your patience. All right, when you're ready, on an inhale, reach your arms up. And as you exhale, arms out like wings, soften your knees and begin to forward fold again. Oh, yes. Maybe the legs straighten a little bit more here. See how you feel. Bring your fingers to your shins. Inhale, halfway, lift up and lengthen. And exhale, fold deeply. Let's take that 2 more times. Fingers on your shins. Inhale, lift halfway, lengthen the spine, draw the shoulders away from the ears, maybe rock some weight in your toes. And exhale, fold back in. Last one, best one. Inhale, halfway, lift up and lengthen. And exhale, fold. Beautiful. Soften the knees, sweep the arms out, rise on up, gathering up all that sweet, good energy and draw it right into your heart. Beautiful. Before we take the other side, I want to state that practicing the action of self-compassion is one of the most powerful tools to transform who you have known yourself to be. Right? Sometimes we tell ourselves complete untruths. And that's a quote by Joanna Kleinman. Good. We're going to make our way to the other side. Inhale, arms reach up. Exhale, a little soft bend in the knees. Swan dive, forward fold. Good. Step your left foot back. Lower your left knee. Good. And find your way into that lunge position on the other side. Maybe you grab those blocks again. Good. Taking your time, finding your alignment, coming up with the tips of the fingers, lifting the heart, lengthening here. Good. You could always stay right here, or you could release the arms with an in-breath, reach them forward and up. All right, so here's that moment where we're gonna look at that pelvic tilt again. Right, so just a tiny little action of the pubis bone tilting up toward the ribs, just awakening that left hip flexor. Say good morning and breathe. Nice. One more inhale and exhale mindfully and slowly. See if you can bring the hands down simultaneously, kind of like you did the feet earlier. Good. Now keeping that left hand on the floor, reach the right arm forward, bicep muscle by the ear, push down into the big toe mound of the right foot, right? So staying really grounded, then we're gonna start those circles. Inhale, right arm up, and exhale, it reaches back behind us and down by the side of the body, and then inhale forward again. So you're gonna make a few circles. Maybe you decide to add in the head, right? Working the neck a little bit, following the gaze, with the fingers. Nicely done. And then slowly bringing that right hand to the right hip. Yeah. I'm going to turn myself around just so that I can still see you here when we twist. Yeah. So right hand on right hip, roll that right shoulder open so it stacks on top of the left. And then maybe releasing that right arm up toward the ceiling. Oh, can you breathe? Right. Notice the challenge here. Or maybe it actually feels quite easy and simple for you. Yeah. Wherever you are, breathe. So well done. Nice. Slowly lower that right hand down. Tuck those left toes under. Lift up that left knee. Step that left foot up to meet the right. Forward fold again. Good. Fingers to shins. Halfway lift and lengthen your spine. And exhale, fold. Good. Soften the knees. Sweep the arms out and rise on up. Good. And exhale, hands to the heart. Beautiful. All right, we're going to play around with some balance here. So I want you to take your hands to your hips And separate your feet, maybe hips distance here. Get heavy on your right foot and just lift your left heel. Lift your left heel. So you're in the ball of the foot, you're stretching out the toes, the neck of the toes, and you're getting really heavy on that on that right foot. Good. All right. Now turn that left knee out to the left and then slide the foot so it finds the ankle of the right foot. Yeah. So this is tree pose modified with the toes down on the ground. You could slide that foot up a little higher, bring it to the calf if that's available for you. So I suggest finding something to look at that doesn't move. Focusing down maybe a few feet in front of you. Maybe there's something on the floor that you can look at, right? Our focal point helps our balance and stability. Yeah. Now, if you're able to, reach those arms out and up. Maybe you bring the hands together over the head. Maybe the arms come out like wings or a cactus, right? Decide what position with the arms feels best for you. Yeah, some of you might even bring your foot up higher on the legs, like to the inseam of the thigh, but just don't rest it on your knee joint. Remember, the knee joint is super delicate. So either above or below the knee. Ooh, yeah, balance. Breath in, breath out. Good. Now slowly release the arms. Bring them back to the hips. Turn that left knee to point forward, and then we're going to step that left foot back, maybe about 2 feet or so. So we're going to come into what we call pyramid pose, right? So it's not as long of a stance as a warrior, right? Both feet are flat, both legs are straight, hands on the hips, so that you can square off those hips. Yeah. Feet are hips distance, so it's like your feet are, instead of being on a balance beam, you want to be on railroad tracks. So straighten that right leg, straighten that right leg. Yeah, right. Now, with an inhale, reach the arms up. All right, bicep muscles by the ear. Remember, if you need to, you could go wider here. Right. So, get a little action with that pelvic tilt again. Lift the pubis bone up slightly toward the ribs, right? Both feet are grounded, both legs are straight, right? And we're gonna slowly hinge forward. Look down toward those right toes. Good. And then with an inhale, we're gonna rise back up. Right? You could change the position of your arms, maybe bringing the tips of your fingers to the shoulders. Take a good breath in. Exhale, hinge at the hips. Stay neutral, both legs straight, gazing toward the right toes. Good. Inhale, rise back up. This time bringing hands to heart center, trying a little change. Good, take a good breath in. Exhale, hinge and hover. Maybe you go a little further. Inhale, rise back up. Good. Straighten the arms up to the ceiling. Take a big breath in. Exhale, hinge and hover. And maybe this time making your way down to the floor or blocks and fold in over this pyramid pose. Yeah, let your head go. Good, looking good. Breathe. Right, and so notice the position of your hips here, right? And try to bring that left hip forward a little, right hip back a little. Waking up the back of that right leg just a little bit more. How's your breathing? Nice. And then lift your head up. Soften that right leg. Step that left foot up to meet the right. Fingers to your shins. Inhale, halfway lift and lengthen. And exhale, fold deeply. Soften the knees as you transition. Sweep the arms out to the side. Breathe in, rise on up, Urdhva Hastasana. And exhale, hands to the heart, Samasthiti. Oh, job well done. Take a big breath in through the nose. Open the mouth and just let it come out. Ah, right, so shape the breath on the inhale. Let the exhale just happen naturally. Good. Hands to hips, and now we're going to take that same sequence on the other side. So feet are hips distance. We get heavy on the left foot and just lift the right heel so the toes are on the ground, the knee is bent, right? And notice the pelvis right here. Is the tailbone sticking out and up? Can you give that little tilt so the belly works strong, right? The core helps us to be balanced and stable. Open that right knee out to the right, and then slide that foot so that arch of the foot comes to the ankle bone of that left leg. Maybe you stay here in a modified tree with the toes on the ground, or maybe you slide that foot up higher and you find your way to the calf, or perhaps the inseam of the thigh. Good. Remember to find the gaze, to look at something that's not moving, and the core is strong for balance and stability. Yeah. When you're ready, arm position, sweep out and up. Decide what works for you. Maybe those fingertips are going to touch over the head. Maybe you're in cactus arms. Maybe your hands are still on your hips. How's your breathing? Perfectly imperfect. My tree is wobbling left and right, forward and back, swaying, just like trees naturally do. Maybe you've got one or two more breaths in you. Making sure you have self-compassion. If you feel like that standing leg is grounding and burning and challenged and working really hard, be compassionate. Yes, it is. It's working hard. You're strong. Slowly, when you're ready, the arms release down to the hips. That right knee centers. And we step and lunge that right foot back just about a foot or two, right, into the pyramid pose. So take your time, square up the hips. Both legs are straight. The left and right leg are both straight, right? Hips are square. And then see here, before we even begin that hinging like we did earlier, can you pull the right hip forward a little bit and the left hip back a little? So they're nice and square. Good. Inhale, arms reach out and up. Good, and as you exhale, hinge forward, hover, look toward the left toes, biceps by ears. Good, inhale, rise back up. Exhale, bend those elbows, fingertips to shoulders. Big breath in. Exhale, hinge and hover. Notice the hips. Can you draw the left hip back and the right hip forward? Look down. Maybe you hover a little further. Inhale, rise back up. Exhale, hands to the heart. Good. Inhale here. Exhale, hover. Oh, maybe with hands at the heart, you can go a little further. Good. And inhale, rise back up. Reaching the arms up again with an inhale. As you exhale, nice and slowly hinge and hover, and gracefully making your way with those fingers all the way down to the floor or blocks, folding yourself in the pyramid pose. Taking the time to examine the alignment of your hips, let your head go, feel what you feel, right? Know that you can adjust yourself, right? The stance could go shorter or longer. The knees could be bent a little if you need. Honor your body and breathe. Good. All right, when you're ready, soften that front knee. Yep, and step that right foot up to meet the left. Forward fold. Good. Oh, 2 feet, equal balance. Fingers on shins. Inhale, halfway lift. And exhale, fold deeply. Soften those knees, sweep the arms out to the side as you inhale, rise on up. As you exhale, draw the hands back to the heart. So well done. Good. Pause for a moment. Good. Inhale, arms reach up. Soften the knees and forward fold. Good. Step your way back to a downward facing dog. If you need child's pose, take child's pose. Stillness in whichever posture you chose. Give me 3 breaths. And after that third exhalation, look forward. We're going to release that right knee down and step that left foot forward again, right? But this time we're going to keep both hands to the inside of that left foot, right? So it's lizard lunge. Hello, hips. All right, so now we're kind of using this action of lizard to reset our hips. When we did that tree pose, it was externally rotated. Now it's internally rotated. So see if you can get that left knee to touch that left arm, maybe around the shoulder or the tricep muscle, and give it a good squeeze in. Yeah. And now you might stay here, or you might test your own strength. Tuck your right toes under, lift that right knee. Oh yeah, right? So both legs, both hips working strong. Maybe a teeny little tilt of the pelvis. Gaze toward the fingertips and breathe. All right, now another option. Maybe it's available. See if you can lower down to the forearms. When you lower down to the forearms, can you still have that left knee making contact with that left shoulder? If you need to release the right knee, go ahead and do that. But try not to let that left knee flop out and open. Woo, strong here, breathe. One more inhale and exhale. If the knee is elevated, lower it down, come back to the palms. Woo, and step that left foot back, knee down, tap back, child's pose. You can either stay here in child's pose, or you can come into a downward facing dog again. How's your breathing? Good. All right, gonna find that challenge of the lizard on the opposite side. Look forward, rock forward, lower that left knee, and step the right foot to the outside of the right hand. Yeah, and just see if you can get that right knee to touch that right shoulder or tricep muscle, right? And squeeze it in. Right, so it makes contact. When we squeeze it in, we ignite the medial glute muscles. Yeah, good. You could stay right here. Breathe. Or maybe you tuck those left toes under, lift that left knee, staying in your lizard lunge, hugging everything in toward the midline. Breath flowing freely, right? Pushing down into that big toe mount of that right foot so that knee doesn't wobble out to the right. And maybe you have the room. You can lower down to those forearms, maybe not. Yeah, see if you can keep the challenges to try to keep that right leg hugging into that right shoulder. Maybe use blocks here to make it a little bit easier to come down to the forearms. You could always lower that left knee. Make sure you're breathing. Yeah, this is the hard stuff. How's your breath? Good. When you're ready, release the knee. If it's elevated, come back to the palms. Ooh, good. Bringing that right leg back and around, lowering the knee down. Tap back to child's pose and stay here. Stay here and breathe. So well done. Inhaling and exhaling. Good. And then we're going to lift the head up, lift the hips up. Good. And just bring those hands forward to the front of your mat and just rock the hips forward, taking an equal stretch on the hips, lifting the heart here. High cobra pose. And then you can bend the elbows and lower the thighs, lower the pubis bone, lower the belly, come to the forearms and find yourself in Sphinx pose. Breath in, breath out. Good. And from Sphinx pose, let the head go. Let the head hang heavy here, taking a little tension out of the spine. Beautiful. All right, one more challenge for us here. Lift the head up. Look at those arms, right? They're still in Sphinx position. Palms are flat, right? Forearms are down, elbow is under shoulder. Good, tuck toes under. And see if you can challenge yourself to lift those hips and thighs up into a forearm plank. Maybe you do it for a split second. Maybe you don't get there at all. Do the best you can and breathe. Hello, strength, and hello, weakness. You're both here. Good. When you're ready, the knees come down slowly, the belly comes down slowly. This time making those elbows wider and bringing the head down. Turn your head to one side, bring your arms down by your side, lay on your belly, palms up. Oh, breathe. Good. 2 more cycles of breath here. And then I'd like you to turn your head in the other direction so that your neck stretches out on both sides. Take 2 more breaths on this side. Good. And head comes back to center. Bend those arms, hands underneath the shoulders. Slowly, slowly push yourself to table. And then hips off to one side, sweeping your legs around to the front of your mat and lowering yourself down onto your back again. Oh, hallelujah moment. Knees bent, feet on the floor, hands on the belly. Pause and breathe. Coming back to this energy of shaping your inhale, right? You control and shape the breath as it comes in your body. And then let the exhale just happen. Like you're not controlling it, it is just happening. Shape the breath on the inhale. Allow on the exhale. And then release the hands from the torso, bring them out like wings. And then slowly lifting those knees up again into the chest. And then letting the knees relax over to the left and turn the head to the right. So supine twist. If this feels like it's too much, you can lower the knees away from this higher position, right? The closer the knees come to the chest or in line with the navel, the deeper the twist will be. And if you want to slide them down a little lower, that's fine too. Turn your head to the right if it's comfortable for your neck. And take 2 more really good breaths. Unwinding slowly Bringing the knees back through the center, maybe tapping the feet down, or maybe leaving the knees up. We're gonna slowly make our way to the twist on the other side. So knees go to the right and head turns to the left. Couple of cycles of breath here. And slowly use an in-breath to make your way back to the center. Extend your legs down your mat. Make your feet wider than your hips. Let those feet just flop open. Arms down by your side. Relax your jaw. Let your head get heavy. And just allow now both the inhale and the exhale to happen naturally. So that you become simply the observer right here. You're going to stay in this nice quiet and stillness for a minute or two. Just being present to our breath. When you're ready, you can begin to deepen your breath. Maybe wiggling fingers and toes. And then take a nice morning stretch. Draw the legs closer together. Reach the arms up and over the head. Point the toes. Reach the fingers. And bend your knees and rock your body onto your favorite side, whichever side is calling you. And then in your own time, in your own way, come back to a comfortable seated position. I invite you to bring your hands to the center of your heart. Find your best posture once again. Om Shanti, 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 He. Om peace, peace, peace. May this practice always be a source of peace for each one of you. May you practice self-compassion. May you get to know the self that you truly are in all of your strengths and all of your weaknesses. Wishing you a terrific Tuesday. Until we meet again, namaste.
Namaste.
Thank you so much. I think we lost Gail to a possible internet issue. So hopefully she will be able to watch again. So thank you, Gail, and thank you, Rochelle. And I know B's gonna watch it later. Thank you, B. Love you guys all. Have a wonderful day. And I will see you again really soon. I can't hear you. I know, Rochelle.